morning, everyone. I thought I would try and do some videos, updates, instead of doing them through Facebook, just a written log and some pictures. So we will see how this goes. I just got here this morning and it's quite early. It's a Monday morning and the girls just woke up and they came to say good morning. Little Rusty. Rusty's not supposed to be in there. He keeps somehow escaping our piggy playground and getting in with the mums. He is by far the biggest barrow, biggest piglet in total, because he won't stop nursing. He can eat solid food, but he just wants to nurse. So that's a little bit of the update with the pigs. The baby pigs, the other four, we can go over here and see them. They are all doing really, really well. They're all now weaned and ready to go. So we have 2 barrows, which can either be pets or food, pasture pork. We have 2 that will be bacon and sausage, who will be pasture pork and we will keep. And then we have 1. Let me say hello, guys. Let me say hello. And say good morning. Say good morning. Yeah. Oh, how was your sleep? Is it good? They have this involuntary reflex where they just have to lie down when you rub their bellies. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Does it feel so nice? Oh, there it goes. There we go. So everybody's here. Hi, guys. So we have bacon and sausage here, Walter, and our unnamed boar, who we haven't named yet. We for some reason we just can't come up with a name for him. So he's here, but he is for sale as well, and he's ready to go whenever we can find a buyer. So that's really exciting. And so there they have a little piggy playground there where they kind of stay in on their own now. We don't use the creep anymore because there's no mamas in there to have to keep out of their food. So it's a short-term thing you need the creep for, but it worked really well when we had it. And then over there you can see, where's Gustav? There's Gustav, this way. That's our boar, our lovely boar, and he's doing fantastic too. On this side, we have the garden, my experimental garden, and to be honest, it's a disaster by so many means of the word. There's definitely lots of weeds and it's had massive neglect. We've done a lot in the house, which we'll get to in the last couple of weeks. So that means the outside was pretty much neglected from my perspective. Jeff did a lot more than I did. So yes, there's weeds everywhere. You can see my onions, they've been completely flat. We had 3.5 inches of rain in 3 days, which was, well, much needed, but it just made everything, it came so much, so fast. Woo! Killed everything. I have lots of muskmelon on a dead vine, or a dying vine. As you can see, crazy. There, see them all? Lots and lots of them in there, so that'll be fun. The cantaloupe. My cucumbers, I think have blight, but we got enough for to do dill pickles. So this is my dying ugly cucumbers, but we got dill pickles and that's all I wanted. I wanted to make some dill pickles, so my mom and my daughter did that. They made some pickles, some dill pickles, and I'm gonna pull this out hopefully next week and plant some peas because it's starting to cool in, and then I'll also plant some more lettuce in there in the shade. You want to say hi, Gustav? Are you here to say hi? Yes. Look at that big smile. Look at that big smile. Good morning. Good morning. Did you have a good night? Yes. Yes, you did. All right, so we'll head towards the house. And it's exciting. So we've had, last week, I invited a whole bunch of people over for a painting party. And it was a 3-day painting party. It was basically, if you can lend an hour or two anytime in these 3 days, I would greatly appreciate it. And it was wonderful. I had so many friends say, yes, I definitely can come. And we have painted all the exterior doors. My uncle came and helped measure all the windows. So we're in the middle of waiting for quotes to replace all the windows. And we talked about the doors, and we aren't in a position quite yet to want to replace the doors. One of us is, the other one isn't. So, and maybe our bank account is with the one who isn't ready. So that's where it stands with the doors. So I'm gonna turn around. This is the front door. It needs lots of touch-ups still. This door ran out of black paint, which seems to be the biggest thing right now, is that we're running out of everything. But we painted it black, and the frame is white. Every door has 2 doors, so the inside of this outer door is white, and then the exterior of the second door is also black. So when you open the doors, you go black, white on the inside, and then black again. So that's super exciting because it's totally cleaned up everything. On top of that, when Jeff had a friend over to help with the attic, he had some time, so he stayed and helped put all the doorknobs back on, and now all the doors close, like beautifully close. They lock beautifully, they turn beautifully. There's no like jingling going, is this door gonna open or not? There's no like, how am I gonna close this, because it doesn't actually close. So it's so very exciting. So this is the side door. Again, it needs a few touch-ups. If we could get some black paint. So see, that door opens so smoothly. This door opens so smoothly. It's amazing. So fantastic. So it's done a real nice, beautiful clean. Did you see that? Just closed. No slamming it, just beautifully closed. So we did the front door, that side door. We also did the door into the coach house, and we are going to be painting, I don't know if we're gonna see it because it might get really dark. See how you can see that green? Is there light here? There, this green, we're gonna paint this one hopefully like an eggshell, like that bluey eggshell color, so it'll be not green. The original colors of all the doors and the shutters were green, but we've decided that we don't really want the green. So that green is going. And we also did, the last door we did was the one going out to the woodshed. The woodshed, also, if you follow me on Facebook, you would have seen that I did, I finished the floor in the coach house. So all of these were here on the property, and I just laid them. Jeff leveled it, which is the hardest part. And then I just kind of came in and laid them down. And we are working on garlic. My daughter and I, we have almost all of it cleaned and ready to sized and ready to braid and sell. Sold some already to people who did pre-orders last year. So if we have any extra, we'll be selling more of the garlic. And that's my daughter's business that she started with my dad. And basically my dad had started when she was, I think, 3, that he would plant and care for the garlic and help clean it. And then she was in charge of sales. And then all the money that she makes from that goes towards her university schooling. But this year we've decided, because she's going to be 11, that she gets to keep a small portion of it for spending money, which we think is kind of fair. So up here in the attic, we are done the wedging. I know, you can do a little dance. It's so exciting. It took us 6 months, but we did it. Well, I didn't do it. Jeff did it. He totally abandoned the wedging. And changed it to sistering, which he did on the floor. And then for whatever reason, I guess the idea of putting up the beams and then wedging was a better idea for the roof beams, but it was just taking too long, too finicky, and Jeff was just blowing his mind over it. So he was talking to another friend, and they said, why don't you sister it? And he's like, I did that with the floor. I can do that. So that friend came over. Jeff found some wood, surprising, because it is impossible to find wood right now. So he found some, thank goodness. And they, in 1 hour, did half the attic. And then another friend came over on Saturday, and in the second hour, finish the attic. So it is done. So this is, he has half and half because he had one wall that was pretty good that he didn't take out. So this is what he's done. So the difference. So this is sistering. So this is taking the 2x4. He's just leveled it up across. It's straight and it's hard. It's not gonna move because it's a whole piece of 2x4. Sistered with the existing beam. Where if you go over here, this is the old way that he was doing it. He cut these pieces and you'll see that there's, I've got my camera right, there's a hole here. So he had cut these pieces so that they matched all the strings, and then he was going along and putting wedges in. Oh, where's the other wedge? Up here. So that the wall would be straight. So when you put the drywall on, couldn't think of the word, there wasn't going to be any bending, because if this one's a pretty thick one, but there are some that they're only that thick, so they would move. So he was having to do all this wedging, and it was just sucking the soul out of him, I think. So it feels so good, and to be able to say, yay, the attic is finished wedging. So now we move on to wiring, which means I have to come up with a plan with where to put my sockets. So if you have any tips on where to put sockets for electrical work in bedrooms, bathrooms, laundry room, and then this room, it's going to be the top 2 floors that we wire from up here, because there is a box up here. So the top 2 floors will have their own heating and cooling system plus their own electrical system up here, and then the bottom 2 floors, so the main level and the basement, will have their own system as well. So if you have any tips, because I'm like, I don't know, close to where you think the bed would be, or I guess they're supposed to be every 6 feet apart, I think, is a standard for a house if you don't have any care or say. So if you know where I should really make sure that I have an electric outlet, put it in the comments so that I make sure I do it, because I'm in charge of this plan that I have no idea or care, really, though I'm sure I'll care when it comes time. We are putting lights in all the ceilings, because that is something that I find that I missed when I go to houses where the electrical socket is on the switch and your light is from there. I like to have a room sometimes when you walk in and you just get a big, beautiful light. And then if you want it dim, you can turn that light off and then have your night side light. So we will be having lights in all the ceilings. All right, so that's all that's in the house. So exterior doors, measured windows, waiting for quotes, attic is done. I'm now on to electrical plan. And we have to finish the touch-ups on all the doors and weather stripping them. So that was the other thing. If we're gonna keep the doors, we have to weather strip them all. So we did buy weather stripping. When did we buy that? Yesterday. So that we can get that done at some point. All right, these beautiful doors that actually work. Look at how nice that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, the other very exciting, can't believe it happened news is the front of the barn has been a bit of a, what are we gonna do? 2 years we've been like, how are we gonna finish this door? How are we gonna finish the front of the barn? It has 3, I'll turn you around when we get a little bit closer. It has 3 actual doors, 2 bay doors and 1 like person door. And we need the 2 bay doors for sure. So I'll turn you around. So here is a bay door and this slides in front. How do I use my finger? This way, in front of those doors, this way, in front of those doors, the people doors. And then over here, can't do my fingers, is another bay door. And this, that corrugated stuff, and it swings out this way. Huge door that swings. And you have to actually hold it up so it swings, so it doesn't have enough support to be able to actually swing properly. So, do you see those white doors? This way. This is, we found these doors. There's a beautiful I guess she's a company, but she goes around and she finds beautiful old farmhouse things and then sells them. And I always mess up her name, but I think it's Pretty Past Present. It's those 3 words, but I don't always get them in the right order. I'll link it below. Anyways, she had these posted these doors. I'm like, those match my other doors. And finally I found something that I think is actually gonna work. So now instead of having one big door, we're gonna have 2 doors that open apart from each other. I have to figure out what to do with that middle door, and we are gonna have to fix this door because there's a few places that it's not, that the windows are broken and the wood is coming apart, and then figure out how to corrugate it so that it will fold instead of like pushing right over those people doors. It just makes it so that it's so hard to get in and out with that. But I'm so super excited. They were gonna go to auction, and I was able to convince, or I asked the owner if they would directly sell them to me, and they said yes. And I can't even tell you how excited I was, because I'm like, finally we have an answer for our doors. So that's absolutely fantastic. Super excited. Meat chickens, they're over here. I don't know if you can hear them. There's the meat chickens. So this is flock 3, and it actually goes to harvest or freezer camp on Friday. So Saturday is our big pickup day. We'll go in there. And they are big, beautiful birds. And we have 50 in each tractor, so this is another 100 that we have. They're doing well. They were actually in this back wooded area this time instead of being in the front with the pigs, and that worked out well. Just moving the flocks around, making sure they have enough grass. We have the things what we find with our meat birds is that they do not like water whatsoever. So we end up having usually a death with the big rain, and Jeff covers them with a tarp, because even though they have all this shelter, he still covers them with the tarp, and it seems like the wet grass and meat birds here for us, they do not do well. We usually lose 1, which we account for, and you're supposed to account for losing up to 10%. We have yet, knock on wood somewhere, that we haven't lost all 10%, but we do usually use 1 or 2 if we have a really big rain. Over here is my herb garden, and it is also the same as the vegetable garden in the sense that it is a state of neglect, I guess is the best way. This outer part, so the actual herb garden isn't too bad. It's growing and it looks lovely, and you can kind of see the shapes and stuff are coming with all the plants. But this first part is all weeds, and I don't know why it gets missed with the line trimmer, but it does every time. So I'm like, that sucks. And then over here, you can see the barn, that's all weeds. The plan was to have the yard done, and then when the yard was done, we were gonna move the stuff that's hiding in those weeds that you can't see over, and then I was gonna tarp it so that they weren't gonna have any weeds. We were gonna have a wee seeds over there, and oh, well, that hasn't happened. So, yeah, oh well, it's coming. Slow and steady wins the race. We're not gonna get everything done at once. But we have lots of infrastructure that really has happened this year, which is really exciting. Over here, we have, I don't know if you followed on Facebook, you would have seen in the spring, we built a carport that we were given. Sorry, I have to walk through these long weeds. Ugh, and they're wet this morning. We're given this carport from Jeff's uncle in Quebec. And we loved it, but the tarp that we used was our hockey rink tarp. We had a few holes, nothing serious, but because of the way we had put it on, I guess that pressure on the bars with the wind, Jeff was like, it's not going to last the winter. We have got our wood back, which I will show you in a minute, and we have some extra. So he has taken it apart, and now he's lining the roof, I don't know if you can see that, with some of the extra pine wood, so that it doesn't rip. And so he kind of has to do that again, which kind of sucks because we're trying to only do jobs once, and we're getting more and more particular about, let's really think about this so that we only do it once. And we did spend time on that, thinking how we wanted to do it, but unfortunately still have to do it a second time. So the wood, if you follow on Facebook, you'll know that we cut down pine trees in the orchard in the autumn, or no, in the winter, and we hauled them to a mill that's not too far from here, and we had it milled into floorboards for the attic. So they're gonna dry here for at least a year, and then Jeff's plan is to up what it is. I think you have to up the humidity the second year. He knows, I don't know, but he did tell me. They need to dry the first year, and the second year then you add, I think you add humidity so that they really dry well. So it's a 2-year kind of process. So that's the other thing, is that he's thinking that he's gonna put black on this roof and make it a really hot, no, it's supposed to be humidity the first year, dry and hot the second year. That's why he needs a black roof in a covered area, but the first year he doesn't need it covered. See, I was listening, just had to put it together. So that is super exciting because we have way more than we need for the attic floor. There'll be the wide pine, so hopefully it'll look like it's old and it was original to the house, and it looks like the second floor, because the second floor bedroom floors are all those wide pine floors, so that's really exciting. And I think that's it for an update. The cows are still doing good. Jeff would like to be, again, probably moving, or he moves them when he's supposed to, but he's like, I keep missing the mow behind within a certain amount of days. So it's just getting into a rhythm, a better rhythm, the more you do it. So again, that's kind of, we've planned for next year. We're just gonna get refined and do a little bit more, get everything just a little bit better every single year. So I think that is it. And I should probably show you, go back this way so you can have, it's a beautiful morning. You can hear the crickets, the birds, and the sun is just rising up. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see how these video updates go, and maybe you'll see me again. Have a great day. Bye.